Hello, everyone. Welcome to some and welcome back to others. You found my YouTube channel. Welcome to Mimi's Treasure Chest. I'm Mimi, and as always, I'm so happy you're here. I've been waiting on this day to record this next video and actually delayed it by a couple of days to be able to catch a break in the weather. So I'm sitting outside on my back patio, and it's a beautiful day. I hope you've caught a break wherever you are watching this video. I hope you're well. I hope your week has gotten off to a great start. I hope you've been productive and you are experiencing joy. Joy is different from happiness. Happiness depends on a circumstance. Happiness needs something to happen. Joy is something that lives on the inside of us. And you can have joy even when there's a storm in your life, when all hell is breaking loose around you, you can still have joy. So I wish you joy on today. I hope you have joy. It's not circumstantial. It's not based on an event. So today I want to touch on a couple of subjects. And I do first also want to thank everyone for your support. Thank you to those that have watched a video, those that have shared, those that have commented, even though these comments are turned off. Many of you, you know me personally, and so many of you have already commented or given me feedback on how these videos have been a blessing to you and have been a help to you or maybe someone you know. And I really appreciate your feedback. I appreciate your support. I appreciate your prayers. So today, I want to touch on two subjects. The first one, and they are kind of hot topics. But the first one I want to talk about, and I actually don't know how many people are talking about this, but it is something that is very concerning to me. And I want to talk about our young people and what's happening. I want to talk about suicide among our youth. Do you know someone who has experienced either a friend, a classmate, a young person that has either committed suicide or attempted? Sometimes I think we feel like these subjects are taboo, and to even raise them, some people feel like it puts the idea in someone's head. That's not the case. I think we need to talk about this issue and this subject matter because many of our young people, as young as 5 years old, are discussing, contemplating, attempting, or have committed suicide. It's nothing that we can turn our head away from. And especially during this time of social distancing, during this pandemic, where many of our children are out of school. Many of them are home in situations that are less than ideal. Many of them are feeling really isolated. Many of them struggled before, and these recent months have actually intensified their struggle. And many parents are also struggling and maybe are not aware or don't quite know how to help a child that is in trouble. The first thing that I think as a society, as parents, as caregivers, as aunties and uncles and grandparents and friends, I think we just have to have, the conversation. We need to sit down with our young people and just ask them, are you okay? How have you been coping? Sometimes it's just that simple. Our young people want to be seen and they want to be heard. And you may think it's outlandish to hear that a 5-year-old could possibly be toying with the idea. It's not. I've watched a couple of programs in recent weeks, and the statistics are startling. How young our youth, some of our youth are that are toying with this idea. Many, like I said, their peers, many of our young people define their worth by their peers and how they're viewed by their peers. And right now, if they're not connected, they're not, with their peers, they're home. Many of them are still, many schools are doing this hybrid, or some have returned. With so many young people, like my granddaughter and others, are doing home schooling full time. And so they're not having a lot of interaction with their peers, and they are struggling. So I don't have all the answers, but I do know that, like I said, as parents, as people who are in the lives of these young people, if you're an uncle, if you're an auntie, if you're a grandparent, if you're just a valued friend, have a sit down. You'd be surprised. Just ask them, how are you doing? And let them know it's okay for them to tell the truth. You don't necessarily have to say the words, but make sure they understand that they can tell you the whole truth. And then brace yourself, because you might be surprised to know that your child, your grandchild, your niece, your nephew, your neighborhood friend, kid's friend or whatever, is struggling. And then I think the most important thing that we can do is to pray over our children. I remember being a child, and I remember my mom through the night, where we were all sleeping, I'd feel her hand on my forehead or across my chest while I was sleeping. And I knew she was praying for me. Let's remember to pray for our young people. The other subject that I wanted to touch on, and it comes with a resource that I want to offer, a book. I want to touch on gender identity issues. Again, you may have a young person, someone that you love, that you care about, that is struggling with gender identity issues, struggling with knowing whether or not, they are same-sex attracted. And I want to preface this portion of the video and say that, I know this is a hot button topic, and many are very sensitive, and I respect that. I'm not talking to, in this video, the one who is committed to the lifestyle. I'm not trying to talk you out of it. I'm not trying to argue with you. I'm talking specifically, most likely to the young adult, or maybe the Christian, or the young person who has recognizes that they have some attraction to the same sex, and they realize this is not the will of God for them. That's who I'm speaking to today. Those that are struggling with this issue. Many young people first come into the awareness of possibly a same-sex attraction in their youth. And especially if you're in the church, if you're growing up in a Christian home, you already realize that, this is something that the church and the Bible teaches against. But that does not take away or negate what you are going through, what you are experiencing. I want to offer a resource to you. You may have heard of an artist, or author rather. Her name is Jackie Hill Perry. She's a speaker, she's a mom, she's a wife, and she's also been delivered from the lifestyle of being a lesbian. Her book is called Gay Girl, Good God. You can look it up. I'll also put it in the link in the description. I'll put a link in the description. And so she talks about how she encountered God, and how that encounter changed her soul. She also is extremely real about her healing and deliverance process. And she lets you know it's not overnight. I think a lot of times when we talk about deliverance, sometimes I think the picture is painted that it's a one-time deal. And you get delivered, you get healed, and that's it. I don't struggle anymore. I am no longer what my struggle was. It's gone. That's not always the case. For me, when I talk about being delivered from depression and from the spirit of suicide, and I know many in the mental health field may not necessarily classify those issues as spiritual, but I'm coming to you from the viewpoint of a born-again Christian. And I recognize that for me, this was a spiritual issue. And I'm not negating, getting help from mental health professionals, not at all. But I do know that, when you receive deliverance from a particular issue, it does not necessarily mean that you are absolutely free from the struggle. There are still moments when I can, if I'm not careful, and if I don't continue to guard and fight for my deliverance on a daily basis, I can still fall into depression. I can still fall into having suicidal thoughts. It's something that you have to fight for on a daily basis to continue to be free. And so Jackie Hill Perry talks about her process, and how, God has allowed her when she never ever thought she would be married and have a family. So I would encourage you, if you are having that struggle, I would encourage you to perhaps get that book as a resource. The other thought I just want to leave with you, this is your struggle. And whether you believe in creation the way the Bible describes it, that God created man, Adam and Eve, or if you even possibly believe in the Big Bang Theory or evolution, I just want to pose a question, and I want you to answer it. When it comes to this issue of same-sex attraction and the lifestyle, many say that I was born this way. I'm not an expert. I realize that there are some babies that are born, I don't remember the exact term, where the genitalia is perhaps could go either way. That's a different situation. And sometimes either the parent or the doctor will select the sex of the baby. I'm not referring to that. I'm talking about a child who had a normal birth and normal genitalia, and they find themselves at some point, possibly after a trauma, after a rape or molestation, or some type of injury or issue, that you find yourself attracted to the same sex. I want to suggest to you that there's no way possible we could be born this way. And if that's the case, what happens if, let's say, you are on an island with there's no science and no other way to intervene, and it's you and just the same sex, whether it be male or female. How do we bring forth life? How do you procreate? How do we continue life? It's just something to ponder. I believe what the Bible says, that God created male and female. And I think something happens along the way. If you have questions, even though comments are turned off, I do have an email address that you can always contact me if you have questions, if you desire prayer, if you are wanting to receive salvation. I can always pray with you. But at the end of the video, I usually always shout out a couple of businesses that I have relationships with and support, and I just want to share them with you. The first was the resource, Gay Girl, Good God by Jackie Hill Perry. Again, I'll put all of this information in the description box. I also wanted to introduce you. I love these earrings, and if you enjoy crafted items, t-shirts, ethnic and cultural items, I have a dear friend who I support and I shop with. Her name is Kesha, and her website is called The Crafted Collection. And you want to spell crafted and collection with a K instead of a C. thecraftedcollection.com is her website. You can find her on Instagram as well as on Facebook. And she's got great items, and I know her story a little bit, and I've watched her process, and I'm just super proud of her and really happy to support her. So check her website out. The other is a bakery that I absolutely love. It's here in Reynoldsburg. It's called Vieux Lyon Bakery. It's a French bakery, Levieux, and then Lyon, Lyon Bakery, 1774 Brice Road. I do know they are on Facebook. Manira is the owner, Manira. She's got the sweetest spirit, and the bakery items are really, really good. So I hope you'll support them. That's all I have for today. I hope something you've heard, something I've shared will bless you, will help you, encourage you, heal, maybe bring healing, or start your healing process, or just encourage you. I hope you'll also get out and enjoy the weather. I hope you've got sunshine wherever you are. And again, I wish you joy. Thank you for spending this time with me. I'll see you again. God bless.